Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Pain to Passion Live. I'm so excited because today I get to talk to my Instagram pal, Bethny Ricks. She
Hi.
is so cool, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her. I love the laugh. We're already laughing. This is a good sign.
Yeah, I know. I have it on my bio that I'm a loud laugher. I finally put it up there. Like
Oh, you
you
did?
I did. I finally put that like I have this very loud, it's probably a cackle. But
It's
yeah.
wonderful. It's infectious. So I'm excited because I'm sure that will not be the only time we laugh today, but you are super cool. So
Well, thank
embrace
you.
it.
I'll take it. I will take it, man. I'll take it.
You should take the compliment and run with it. But yeah, I met Bethany on Instagram, I think
Yes.
because of Sharia.
Yes, dear
And
friend of mine.
yeah, so mutual connection there. And I've just loved following you and your journey. I have a little bio for you, but I think it would be more fun just to hear from you. Like, can you tell us who you are and what you're about? Go for it.
Okay. Wow. There are too many things, so I'll just keep it simple, not bore your
Whatever you
audience.
like.
I'm a mom of two wonderful children who are 11 and soon to be 9. My son is 11, my daughter is 9. I am a writer, and I like to say that I help people clear the hurdles in front of them by talking about really raw topics, but in a poetic and realistic way. So I don't put a lot of fluff on the things that I write. And I write about the things that we think about right before we go to bed. So when you're sitting in your room or in your chair, that's generally when I'm posting or scribing my musings. And so that's what I do. And I travel the country speaking and encouraging women and men. But before that, I had a pretty successful career as an executive in the business world, and worked for a lot of the brands that are probably sitting in your homes. So from retail to lawn and garden. And so I did that for about 18 years. And then in 2020, I left because, I wanted to try something else because I can always go back. There'll always be corporations, and there will always be positions that I can go back to. So I decided to take everything that I've learned and give back in the world of Instagram and conferences and things of that nature. So that's
So
it. That's
cool.
all I got.
So cool. And it's like, it kind of blows my mind because, like, you're not an old person.
No, I'm not. I mean, I always say on my head, there's this bird's nest. There's some gray in here. There's
Girl, me
gray,
too. I've
but
got
I'm
some.
39. And so I've done a lot. And so when people like hear all the things, or they Google me and then they see my LinkedIn, they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I know. I did a lot. I was fortunate to have these phenomenal mentors in my life, business mentors who are still mentoring me today, who just kind of helped shape me as a businesswoman and open doors for me. And so I was able to kind of walk through those doors and delivered on what they said, because it's one thing for someone to open a door for you, it's another thing for you to walk through and actually deliver on what they say you can do.
For sure.
And it all worked out, and I was able to build something that I could then walk away from and try something new without being totally afraid.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's a pretty huge pivot
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
did, which
yeah,
I'm very curious about. We'll get back to that, definitely.
yeah,
But I want to also go back to what you said about how you talk and write about poetic, raw stuff, like the
yeah.
stuff that you think about before you fall asleep at night. I know we've chatted about this before, but that is like so true. It's probably what just draws me to you the most is like you say stuff on Instagram and you're like, what Like,
Why was she in my room with me? Like, what is she doing? Yeah.
Yes, like the tough relationship stuff
Yes.
and the tough challenges of just like walking out this journey of life. I mean, you talk about relationships a lot, even just friendships. And
Yes.
I think for adult women specifically, I hear over and over again the challenge of finding good and healthy friendships.
Yeah.
Like it can be difficult when you're a mom, you're doing all these different things, you're moving.
Yeah, it's hard.
And you're also, so many of us are healing and
Yes.
growing and
I think all of us are healing.
Yes.
Some people like to pretend like they're not.
I like that. I like that perspective. That's good.
They are.
But you do find as you heal that there are some things that you can't tolerate anymore. Right.
Correct.
And that's a lot of what you talk about. I kind of want to hear a little bit more like inside your brain. Like where is this
dangerous territory?
Where is this coming from? Like, because you're obviously coming from experience talking about, like, I think you posted yesterday, like if it's not good for you, walk away from it. And you're not just talking about careers, you're talking about
people, places, and things.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell us more.
I am drawing from my personal life. I'm also drawing from the personal, like the lives of my friends and the conversations that we are having, and the lessons that I've learned. So a lot of what I do is I'm a pretty open book. And so in my newsletter, that I've just kicked off and things like that, I try to, I don't want to say overshare, but I want to share in a way that people don't feel as though they feel like they can walk away with something. Because there's a lot of shallow sharing, right? Where it's like, oh my God, friendships are hard. Okay, but tell us why it's hard.
Right.
So, I mean, and it's hard for a lot of different reasons. One, you have people in your life who are selfish, right? And they're selfish for a lot of reasons. You have people in your life who don't respect or understand boundaries. Adult friendships are hard because the playground really hasn't changed.
So true.
Right? Like we want to think that, but it hasn't changed. And so I'm pulling from all of those experiences that I have day in and day out. And so I have had to walk away from friendships, sometimes because we've evolved away from each other, and sometimes because they just weren't good for me. And sometimes people don't want to say that. They're just like, oh my God, we grew apart.
Right.
Oh, we grew apart. It's like, no, I said it. I had this boundary of peace. So in my life, for me, so that I'm not being overly vague, I have this line where if you are not kind, you cannot be in my orbit. And the reason for that is I have been in a lot of different types of abusive relationships.
Yeah.
So I don't have a high threshold for people who are not kind in any way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's not an intimate relationship and it's just a friendship. I can't have that in close proximity to me. So you get a certain amount of time to adjust who you are, or I can't really do this. It's not good for my spirit or my soul.
Yeah.
Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it's so good. It brings up a lot of thoughts in me. Just like part of what I'm thinking is a lot of us are coming from a faith background, right?
Yes.
And which is wonderful. Yay, Jesus all the time.
All the things.
However, you're in a faith background and you kind of are taught, a lot of us are taught along the way, like just to tolerate bad behavior.
No.
And accept it. Right. No.
And I always say, show me Bible. And there's not a single, not man's Bible.
Yes.
Show me in God's Bible where it says we are supposed to allow ourselves to be poured into from a toxic cup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the person is toxic. I'm saying the behaviors they are displaying.
Yeah.
And their unhealed words, actions, thoughts, what they're pouring out, like you don't have to receive. You're not a garbage can.
Yeah.
And so our willingness to receive deposits from other people, we have to be very particular about that. And so, yeah, faith is important. I'm not discounting that. I'm not discounting loving people well, but loving people well, I can love you well at a distance.
Yep.
Right. I can pray. For me, my threshold is always, can I pray for you? I was having this conversation with a really good friend of mine the other night, and we were saying, if we felt compelled to pray for a person who had did us wrong, can we still do that? The answer as a believer should be yes.
Right.
Right. That doesn't mean you have to have like a close relationship with that person, but that means that, like, you know what, we're not friends, but I can still kind of pray for you if something happens, and like my heart is pure.
Yeah.
But we don't have to be friends.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Definitely. No, I love that. And I think so many people need to hear that. Because
it's okay to let go.
It's like also like there's an all or nothing kind of mentality with relationships sometimes, of like, if I'm your friend, then you have full access to me. But there's different levels of relationships.
Yeah.
There's those that are kind of more on the outer circle and those that are in the inner circle. And the ones on the inner circle have been vetted, probably. Right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And people, it's who do you want to give access to your heart? I don't have the energy to put on a mask. So when you walk into my house, there are these two paintings of people taking a mask off, because the rule is when you come into my house, mask off. You're allowed to be your full self. There is no judgment here. And you don't need to be shy. You don't need to put on a performance. That's not really what we do in my house. And so the reason those photos are there is because I know that when I am inviting people in, and the same thing with friendship and people who you allow in close proximity, when you're inviting people in, that you don't have to have a mask on. So if you're around people where you feel like you have to constantly have your guard up, well, maybe they're an acquaintance. Maybe it's not a deep friendship, or maybe it's a friendship that's evolving.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's fine. That's really not a big deal, and people shouldn't be offended by that.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
It is very healthy. It is very healthy.
It's healthy. Yeah. And again, I think what I see with different people that I communicate with who are dealing with relational issues, again, is that like all or nothing that I'm talking about, and understanding that it's not just okay to have boundaries, but it's also godly, kind, and loving.
Well,
towards yourself.
Boundaries have more to do with you than they have to do with the people around you. And I think that's where people get it wrong, because they are focused on boundaries as a reaction and not something that is proactive. In order to set really good boundaries, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you want. You have to know what makes you tick. You have to know why you want what you want, so that you can properly articulate what you want. And that is a know thyself. So before you can tell everyone else, you have to know thyself. That is someone who understands boundaries well, because they know what they want, why they want it, and why they need it. And so the
Go
breakdown
ahead.
happens when people just kind of like, oh, this sounds like a really good boundary because someone else said it was. And it's like, well, it keeps breaking down because you don't know why you're setting it. You're setting it because it sounds good or it's like super trendy.
Yes, that's so good to articulate. Thank you for that. That know thyself bit. I would love to know, like, do you feel like you've kind of always been self-aware and knew yourself and knew how to be unmasked, or was that like a process for you?
I'm a pretty self-aware person. Now, the other side of that coin is I also went through a season where I didn't care. So I was self-aware, but then also knew that my behaviors were damaging.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
which, so you're like, dude, people can't see your face. You're like, oh, someone would actually admit that out loud. Right.
Great.
But there's that, I have a very strong personality, and I was in a really toxic space and kind of trying to heal, and was coming off of my divorce, and I was, in just not in a very good headspace. And I knew that some of my behaviors were not the best, but I didn't care because I didn't have the capacity to care. And that's something that people don't talk about. It is not an excuse because I'm a grown adult and I was grown enough to apologize, after the fact, and kind of be able to call a timeout and go, okay, I need to go to therapy. Like, this is inappropriate. But sometimes people don't have the capacity to care in the way that we know that they should. Someone's response would be, oh, there's grace for that. Yes, there's grace for that. But as the community around the person, we also have to call that person up and say,
Yeah.
listen, I understand you're going through a lot. Understand you're hurt. Understand this is a tough season. However, this is how your behaviors are showing up.
Yeah.
And you need to do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And say it in love.
Which
Right?
brings you back to making sure that your relationships are good and safe and healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you didn't have those good and safe and healthy relationships at that time, there would be no one to call you up to a higher standard, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And usually people who are doing that have a point of reference. So seasoned relationships are really important, because those people kind of go like, I've been with you on the roller coaster ride, and this ain't it. And so I have people, everyone should have one person in their life who they have so much respect for that person can stop them dead in their tracks. See, everyone wants a bunch of friends, but everyone needs the one friend that can stop them dead in their tracks. That can say, you know what, you're being an idiot. Yeah, I don't want to, but like I have a lot of acquaintances and I have a lot of seasoned relationships, but I know who the people are who will call me right now and say, you kidding me right now? You kidding me?
Yeah.
Really? You said that? You did that? That's what you're doing? That's what we're doing now? And I would not say any, I wouldn't say it. I would be like, oh, snap. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But I intentionally surrounded myself with women like that.
How did you do that?
I self-awareness, knowing my personality, knowing that I did not want people around me in close proximity to me who were just going to agree to get along, and people who I respect.
It's good.
There are some people who I am friends with who I'm like, yeah, I'm not really actually respecting the decisions that you make. I love you. I will ride or die until like 10 o'clock. I will ride or die with you. But I don't necessarily respect all the like personal decisions that you're making. But for the most part, surrounding myself with people who I respect their decision making. That is huge. Huge.
Yeah, I love that. It definitely offers a perspective on for example, that person that you could call or that could call you and stop you dead in your tracks.
Yeah,
If you start from that place of like, you have so much respect for that person.
exactly. Where it's like, yeah, they know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they got their stuff together.
Yes. Which is very different from someone's position, which I've seen the two confused too
Yes.
many times.
Yes. Because position really doesn't mean a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to mean more than it does. And it's really it's Oz. Yeah, everybody who's seen the Wizard of Oz and you pull the curtain back and you're like, oh, that's what's really going on down back there.
Yeah.
Position can be a prop.
Mm-hmm.
It really can. And it's
It sure
unfortunate.
can. It sure can. Absolutely. So when you are looking for these kinds of relationships, or when you have looked for these kinds of relationships in the past, I'm just going to say we have someone starting from like square one.
Yeah, square one.
Square one. Okay, I'm living in this town and maybe I do or maybe I don't go to church and my kids go to school. And I know some people around maybe on Instagram or like in my community that I kind of like to kind of be in relationship with, but I don't really know where to start with friendships. Maybe I've been burned a lot of times.
Yeah, which
maybe,
is, yeah.
Maybe the pastor in leadership has hurt me or something along those lines, but I have been doing the healing work. This is a lot of the women that I know. I'm doing the healing work. I'm getting to know who I am. I'm realizing a lot of the relationships that I have probably are not healthy.
Yeah.
Like
how do
what
I start
now?
again? How do I start again?
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people volunteering at different places is a great way to meet people, because you tend to volunteer at places that around things you like doing and that you're passionate about. So you're naturally going to gravitate to, like, in that setting, you're going to find like-minded individuals, like-minded people who already probably have a similar political affiliation, a similar religious affiliation. So you kind of get that piece out of the way. And then don't be afraid to talk.
Yes.
Right? Like, you can't go places and not open your mouth. This is coming from someone, y'all understand this deeply within my soul and my being. I am an introvert. I am not an extrovert. I have to mentally prepare myself when I go to speak. I'm going to go speak at a conference next week. I'm going to Kansas City, Missouri. I am mentally preparing myself to get on that stage and talk. I'm not shy. I know what I'm going to say, but I'm an introvert. So I'm saying that so that people aren't like, well, you probably like being around people. Not really. It's not my story. But when you go and volunteer somewhere, do it with the intentionality of, I'm going to introduce myself to 3 people. Like, set a mental goal. If you're not somebody where you're like, I feel really uncomfortable, I'm going to at least introduce myself to 3 people. If you're going by yourself, even if you're going with someone else, step out of that comfort zone. I always say your comfort zone isn't free. So your comfort zone isn't free no matter where you are going. Okay. So even if you're taking like a buddy with you, which would be me, I would take someone with me, still say, I'm going to introduce myself to like 2 or 3 people and be like, hey, like, could I really enjoy this conversation? Would you like to meet for coffee sometime? Here's my number. So, or here's if you're somebody who does social media, like, here's my online account, reach out. If someone gives you their information, be the one to follow up. Like, don't wait. Don't be like, oh my God, should I wait 72 hours? Like, this is not a date. It's not like, I don't know what the rules are for dating. I'm not really out there in the streets, so I don't know. But it's like, it's literally kind of those basic principles. What I also tell people is, if someone doesn't respond, understand that you don't know their story.
That's good.
So they could be in a season where capacity is a big thing when you're an adult, where they don't have the capacity for a new friendship. It has nothing to do with you. You also don't know what's going on behind closed doors. There was once when I was married, there was a person who it was very clear that she wanted to develop a friendship with me. And I was not in a place to do that because of what was going on behind closed doors,
Yeah.
which was very private. And I was like, there's no way I'm having her into my home. Like, people don't really know what's happening here. Like, I'm trying to keep everything under, but on the outside, what she saw was like, oh my God, it's Bethny. And like, when she's out and about, she's smiling, but had no idea, like, behind closed doors, I'm living in torment. So we can't assume that the story is about us. We also can't assume that the story is bad. Sometimes people don't have time.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, I just want to go home and cry in the shower.
Totally.
And it's because if a kid asks me one more time for a sapsucking chicken nugget from McDonald's, I'm going to scream. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I cannot.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. And there's no mastermind and there's no workshop that's going to fix that. Right? There's no, people are really quick to like, read this book. No, that's actually not. The only thing that's going to fix that is an hour of silence and a really good cry.
Yep.
So it's not you, the Susie who is listening. It's likely not you. You're a very sweet person. It's just not the right season.
Yeah.
And so keep trying.
Yes.
And also the third point or second point, I don't know how many points I've given. The next point though, think about friendship outside of local proximity. And I know I keep using the word proximity, but that's a really big word. So for me, I will never forget one evening and I have no problem with anyone who's hearing me talk for the first time. I have no problem with talking about like crying, because I think that's just a part of the life that we live. I was like crying in my room and I'm like, God, I just feel so lonely. And I have friends that I've had for over 20 years, but there was this, I'm like, I just need, like, there's something missing. And I started developing these friendships with women on Instagram who are all over the world. None of them are in Ohio. And so, and to this day, we still remain, this was like 3 years ago, to this day, still friends. I have visited them. We have seen each other's faces. We have vacation together, and it has bloomed into these like friendships that happened over time. And so I think we also have to think about friendship differently in that way too.
Yes. We're really lucky, honestly, living in the day that we live in, that we can have relationships like that.
Yes.
Like our parents couldn't do that, but we can do that. I'm in the same boat where the majority of my close friends live nowhere near me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's still working. And we're still actual good, deep friends. And some of whom I have met on Instagram. Like I'm doing a Bible study, like me and this other girl were like, let's do a Bible study together. And she lives in West Virginia. I've never met her face to face. And I live here, but we just have like that kinship, you know, we get each other.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really good point about proximity. There's physical proximity and then there's like emotional proximity, and they don't have to be the same.
They do not have to be the same.
Yeah. I really appreciate all your practical tips, because like I feel like
it's always practical, because
I love that.
We don't have the patience. I don't think we realize that we don't have the patience or the tolerance for all of these levels and layers that people are providing us. And it's just like, give me the answer.
Yeah.
If you have I don't want to pay $9.98 or I don't want to sign up for the answer and then have to wait 4 weeks for like your thing or your book or your, like, just give me the answer. Here are the answers. These are the answers. Here are the answers. Here are the tools. Take them, take all the things. So good. Yeah. Everything. I feel like almost everything in life is much more simple than we make it to be. Yeah. I mean, well, they're made to be complex so that people, I mean, this is going to sound so cynical. I'm sorry, but it's because I came out of the business world. It's so people spend money.
It's true. It's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
some things require an explanation and a very deep explanation, a very deep conversation, and they require certifications.
Hmm.
But not everybody's a therapist. Like
Right.
there's a reason why you have to go to therapy, like go to school to get like a master's and a doctor. Like
Right.
there are reasons for that, right?
Yeah,
But now
absolutely.
everyone is, well, these are like feel your feelings and like, yeah, actually just sit on a couch and I probably should be diagnosed with something. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. But I just love the practicality of, because I've had this conversation with a lot of different people and it gets like really ethereal and like really like,
nah.
I lost track. I love you. I kind of lost track of where you're
Yeah,
going.
I'm not following.
So that practicality, very much appreciate that. I'm sure there will be a lot of others who appreciate that as well. I mean, I could talk to you
You can
all
ask me
day.
whatever you want. Yeah. And I will always have a simple response because my brain can't handle. I mean, I could talk about things in a complex way, but I want whatever I say, I want people to be able to take the nugget and apply it in their way, not in my way, because my way may not work for them. I live a very different life, not because I'm better, but because it's my life,
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Yeah.
So for you, you take the nugget and you apply it to your life because it's yours.
Right. Yeah. So good. And I'm getting to know myself. So I know how it's going to work for me.
Exactly. Like there's some stuff where, people might read it and go, well, that doesn't really, I'm not going to be able to do that. And it's like,
Mhm.
totally cool.
Cool.
I get that.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just think you're fabulous, truly.
Well, thank you so much. You too. Nice to you. But man, you're so nice. You're so nice. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for your beautiful heart. What are you going to talk about at the conference coming up?
I'm not totally sure.
That's cool.
I still have time to
Yes, you
think
do.
about it because it's not till next week. But likely because it's focusing on business.
Mhm.
And I'm in the self-doubt vein right now.
Ah,
Yeah. So that's kind of the lens that I'm looking at the world through. And fear and self-doubt tend to be the hurdles that women need to help clear
yeah,
their personal and professional life. And
absolutely.
so I'm going to probably lean right on that nerve is what I'm going to do.
Awesome.
Yeah. I like to lean right on the self-doubt and the fear and the worthlessness nerve.
Mm,
Yeah. We're going to just go right there. Cause I mean, it's one of the fallacies that people have fallen into is believing that if you achieve a certain level of, and I'm not saying these groups of women, I'm just talking about people in total.
mhm.
If you achieve a certain level of income, power, or if your stage is big enough that fear and self-doubt become kind of like fumes, like they disappear and they actually become even more amplified.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's even more amplified. And I told this story at an event I spoke at a few weeks back where I said, when I climbed the top of the peak of my career and the peak of power and money, at that point, all I saw were bigger mountains with higher peaks.
Ooh. Wow.
And when you see that, you have moments of significant doubt.
Yeah.
You can't have, and you move through it and you move past it because you have to, or you
Mhm.
have a job. But I worked alongside millionaires and people who were worth billions of dollars for most of my career, who a lot of the time I was spent with men and women was helping them, talking them off of that ledge of doubt.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really good to have that perspective. I mean, it's something that we're always going to be like when you up level, there's going to be more mountains that you see in front of you, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to arrive.
There's only one Everest, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just up until that point, it's just more peaks, more peaks,
Yeah.
more peaks.
So good. Well, I can't wait to hear about it. I hope it goes amazing. I'm sure that every time you get on stage, someone gets something practical and wonderful to apply to their lives.
I hope so too. I enjoy traveling and speaking. I really do. So it's fun.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, Bethny.
Of course.
Thank you for being willing to be one of my first interviews for my podcast.
Anytime.
Super grateful for that. And before we go, what's the best way for us to connect with you? I'll make sure to put your links in the show notes, but for anyone who wants to connect, what's the best way?
My website, has all the links, Bethny with no A, BETHNY, Ricks.com. So Ricks is RICKS, and you can find me on Instagram, Bethny Ricks on Instagram, and my newsletter, Pour It Out, which I send out periodically because I do not like bogging down people's inboxes. So, I send it out when I feel like it, but I make sure that it's nice and meaty. So I have a new one coming out this week.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm definitely on your list. So
yes, I'm not on like an every week or every other week cadence because I don't like sending it out too much.
Then when we get it, we're like, oh yay, something from Bethny.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Where you can find me.
Thank you so much, girl. You're awesome. And I hope we chat again soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.